You're asking me a question, and I don't even know if it's true that they're getting it. If they're getting housing, not
let's
necessarily.
Say you don't know if it's true or not. Would you want to pay for it if you knew it was true?
With all the money that this country has, if they're nonviolent criminals and they're homeless, I think we should help everybody that's homeless,
So, Brian,
whether they're legal
you
or illegal.
want to pay for illegal aliens housing?
Yeah, I think when you look at all the people in this country that are homeless, I think we should help all people.
Brian,
I don't have a problem with that. I don't have a problem with it.
Yo, what is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. So today we have got something special for you. Jesse Lee Peterson sits down with Brian Shapiro, a radio host out of Las Vegas, and this conversation goes completely off the rails. They get into illegal immigration due process and whether taxpayers should be paying for non-citizens, and Brian's answers are going to have your jaw on the floor. I am telling you, this one builds and builds, so make sure you stay locked in all the way through because the ending is worth every second. Also drop a comment and let me know where you are tuning in from today. I always love seeing how far this community reaches. All right, let us get right into it.
What does it say in our Constitution, Jesse? What does it say in our Constitution about due process? Do you know what it says?
Illegal aliens do not get due process in our country.
Wrong.
No,
I cannot believe. Okay, I'm going to read you verbatim off our Constitution, and then if I'm wrong, I'll pay you $1,000. How does that sound?
Hurry up.
Okay. In our Constitution, it says any person has the right to due process. It does not say any citizen. With respect, you don't know what you're talking about. That's what it says in our Constitution.
Right, and we're not referring to illegal aliens, non-citizens of the country. They mean the people who are citizens of this country.
Jesse,
that does not apply to illegal aliens. Let me tell you what it's in my chat.
Jesse, I'm going to repeat what I just said.
Me my chat.
Jesse, I'm not sure you heard what I just said.
You did. You said any person, but the Constitution was not talking about illegals.
Jesse, the forefathers could have said any citizen. That's not what it says in our Constitution, which I'm trying to explain to you. It says any person. An undocumented immigrant is a person. They could have said any citizen. It literally says, quote, any person has the right to due process. That's not an opinion, Jesse. That's a fact.
And so
that's
you
what
think
it says.
That back in those days, the founding fathers were referring to illegal aliens? They didn't even know that the illegals were going to come into our country like that, man.
Yeah.
They didn't know that.
Our founding fathers, I'm telling you, our founding fathers could have said any citizen has the right to due process. That's not what they said. They said any person. That's what they said.
You are assuming that because you think you want it to apply to non-citizens, and it doesn't.
What is any person? Okay, so tell me, what does any person mean? Give me that definition,
please. Any U.S. citizen.
That's not what it says.
Yes, it is.
They said any. No,
that's
they didn't say U.S.
It doesn't say illegal either.
Okay, right. It says any person, which means whether you're illegal or not, you're considered a person. You're making your own definition and making up words. It says any person. That's what it says.
But where did you get the idea of illegal, non-citizen? Where do you get that from?
Where do you get? Wait, I'm sorry. What was your question?
Where did you get
that again?
When it says any person? Where did you get the idea that it meant illegal aliens?
Because a person can be legal or illegal. Are you really asking me this question? It says any person. If they wanted to say any citizen, they would have said that. What is your problem with undocumented immigrants? Why do you have such an issue with them?
I don't personally have an issue at all. It just
sounds like you do.
It's just that they're in my country illegally, and we're having to pay for them. We take care of them. We pay free phone.
So you care about an American?
Hold on, let me ask you a question.
So you care about?
Hold on a minute.
Okay.
Hold on.
Yep.
We pay them rent, food, education, cell phones, health care. We're having to pay for non-citizens.
Not true.
Hold on, Brian.
What you said is not true.
Hold on, Brian.
What you're saying?
We're paying for non-citizens, and I know for a fact that it's true because I know many illegals, buddy. And so they're getting everything free, and we're having to pay for it. That's my issue with it only.
Yeah.
Why you don't have an issue with it? Why is that you do not have an issue with illegal?
Let me just correct you. If you're talking about welfare and food stamps and Medicaid, if you're an undocumented immigrant, you don't qualify for government assistance. That's number one.
But they do get it, Brian. I just told you they do get it. I know for a fact they get it.
Okay, well, you can say
Joe
that.
Biden and the Democratic party for that.
Okay. You can say that, but that doesn't make it true. I'm just telling you what the laws state. Number two.
Hey, about the law. I'm not talking about the law. They're not keeping the law. They're breaking the law. And they
well, Trump is the president.
Are you okay
so
with us taking care of the illegal aliens?
Well, hold on a second. You seem to care about Americans first, right? It sounds like to me you want to take care of American citizens first. Is that a fair?
I want to not have to pay for illegal aliens.
This is what happens when someone tries to use the Constitution as a shield for people who aren't even supposed to be here. Brian comes in confident saying the Constitution says any person has the right to due process and that it does not say any citizen. And sure, on paper, that's what the text reads. But here's what people like Brian will never acknowledge. The Founding Fathers wrote that document for the people of this nation. They were not sitting around in 1787 thinking about how to protect people who sneak across the border 200 years later. That is common sense. And Jesse called it out immediately. He said illegal aliens do not get due process in our country. Now, Brian's response was to just keep repeating the same line. Any person, any person, any person. But repetition does not make you right, it just makes you loud. And here's what really gets me. Brian is so focused on defending the rights of people who broke the law to get here that he completely ignores the people who are already here, legally and struggling. Because then Jesse shifts the conversation to the financial burden, and he said it clearly. They are in my country illegally, and we are having to pay for them. Rent, food, education, cell phones, healthcare. And what does Brian say? He said this: if you are an undocumented immigrant, you do not qualify for government assistance. And I need you to understand something about that response. That is a textbook deflection. Because whether they technically qualify on paper or not, the reality on the ground is completely different. Communities are footing the bill every single day. Telling someone, well, legally they should not be getting it does not change the fact that they are getting it. That is like telling someone your house is not on fire because the fire department has not officially confirmed it. The house is still burning.
What about people that are struggling in this country, working paycheck to paycheck, that are legal citizens? Do you want to help them?
We're not talking about them. We're talking about the illegal.
Well,
are you okay with paying for the illegals?
I'm talking about hypocrisy.
Right. Are you okay with paying for the illegals?
Sure, I'll answer that. So first of all, I want to clarify, and then I'll answer your question. It is illegal for those that are undocumented to get government assistance. We're talking about food stamps and Medicaid. You can say
well, you need to tell the government that then.
Okay, well, it's illegal for them. They have to provide a social security number.
But you need to let the government know that because they don't care.
Well, again, I'm just telling you what the laws are, okay? And if you think people are breaking the laws, then you should talk to Donald Trump about that because he's the president.
Are you okay with paying for illegals?
Yes. So, yeah, if a illegal, for example, gets dropped off at the emergency room and they need life-saving care, 100%, I think we should be able to help them in that situation. As far as government assistance like welfare and food stamps, no. That's why it's against the law.
So you don't want to pay for their education?
If an undocumented child, well, first of all, are we talking about anchor babies? Who exactly are we talking about?
Brian, do you want to pay for illegal aliens' education?
I don't have a problem with that.
Do you want to pay for illegal alien housing?
Where are illegal aliens getting housing?
That's not the question. Do you want to pay for illegal alien houses?
You're asking me a question, and I don't even know if it's true that they're getting it. If they're getting housing, not necessarily.
Let's say you don't know if it's true or not. Would you want to pay for it if you knew it was true?
With all the money that this country has, if they're nonviolent criminals and they're homeless, I think we should help everybody that's homeless.
So, Brian,
whether legal
you
or illegal.
Want to pay for illegal aliens housing?
Yeah, I think when you look at all the people in this country that are homeless, I think we should help all people.
Brian,
I don't have a problem with that. I don't have a problem with it.
You want to pay
I'm answering you. No, I don't have a problem with it.
Brian, you want to pay for illegal. Brian, you want to pay for illegal aliens housing?
Yes.
You want to pay for their food?
No, I just told you they don't qualify for food stamps. So you're
I know what you said, the lawyer. My question is, would you want to pay for illegal aliens food?
I want to pay for everybody in this country that's struggling.
How about illegal?
Yes, I would throw.
You want to pay for illegal alien food?
See, here's my problem with this conversation.
Brian,
you're talking about.
You're not answering my question.
Hold on a second, Jesse. Well, I just did. I just said yes, but Jesse, you're not letting me respond.
One last quick question about that. Then, do you want to pay for illegal alien health care?
I just told you if they're dropped off.
I didn't ask you about the emergency room. Do you want
Yes.
to pay for illegal alien health care?
Don't have a problem with it.
Oh, okay. Well, that's amazing.
Okay.
Now, this is the part that every single person watching needs to see, because Jesse does something brilliant here. He stops arguing theory and starts asking direct yes or no questions, and Brian walks right into every single one. Jesse asks him straight up, do you want to pay for illegal aliens' education? And Brian said this, I do not have a problem with that. No hesitation. Then Jesse keeps going, do you want to pay for their housing? And Brian tries to dodge, asking where are illegal aliens even getting housing? And Jesse shut that down immediately. He said this, that is not the question. Do you want to pay for illegal alien houses? That is how you handle someone who keeps deflecting. You do not let them change the subject. You pin them down and make them answer. And what happens next is the most revealing part of this entire conversation. Brian eventually admits yes to everything. Education, yes. Housing, yes. Food, yes. Healthcare, yes. He even said this, I want to pay for everybody in this country that is struggling. And that sounds noble, right? Sounds compassionate on the surface. But think about what he is actually saying. He wants your tax dollars going to people who cut the line. People who did not go through the legal process. People who are here in violation of the law. And he wants them to receive the same benefits as citizens who have been paying into the system their entire lives. You have to understand how insane that position is to the average working American who can barely afford groceries right now. And Jesse's reaction was perfect. He just said, that is amazing. And honestly, that is all you can say when someone tells you with a straight face they want to fund everything for people who broke the law to be here.
Yep. Well, I think what you're saying is amazing because the man who you support has taken away Medicaid for 20 million American citizens. Do you ever talk about that?
I'm not aware that you've done that.
You're not aware. Oh, how could you be talking to me about?
Because I know people.
Wait, hold
who,
on.
Brian,
Hold on a second.
I know
Jesse,
people who
Jesse,
are receiving.
hang on.
But we're talking
Jesse,
about illegal aliens, Brian. We're
Jesse,
talking.
Jesse,
so what you,
hold on a
Brian?
second.
Hold on, Brian.
Hold on,
Brian,
Jesse,
hold on.
You're not letting me
referring
respond.
to the Obamacare. That's not.
No,
we're
I'm
not supposed to be
no, I'm
taking
not.
care of Obamacare.
No, I'm not. You got to listen to me, Jesse, with respect, okay? For the first 10 minutes of this interview, you're against helping undocumented immigrants with food and shelter. Okay, fine. We can agree to disagree on that. You're not aware what's in the big and beautiful bill. You mean to tell me when we're talking about American citizens now, you're not even aware that they're taking 20 million Americans off of Medicaid coverage and millions of Americans off of food stamps? How could you be a Trump supporter and not even understand that?
I am aware that they're getting rid of the Medicare thing for the Obamacare people because they've been getting it free and they didn't deserve it.
They're taking 20 million.
I am aware they're getting rid of it from the illegals, so I'm fine with all that. Are you?
You just said you're fine with 20 million of American citizens being taken off of Medicaid that are struggling?
I don't
okay
know.
with that?
I can't really discuss that because I'm not up on exactly how that goes. You may not tell me the truth about it. So I can't discuss that because I don't know how that goes.
You support Donald Trump. You don't know. You don't know what's.
Brian, I do know that I don't want to be paying for Medicare or Medicaid or anything for the illegal aliens, and I don't want to be paying that Obamacare thing because most of those people on those things are lazy people.
What's Donald Trump? Okay, you don't like.
Do you agree with that, Brian?
You don't.
Do you agree with that?
You don't like. Hold on. You don't like Obamacare. Can you tell me what Donald Trump's replacement plan is?
I don't know. You have to check with him.
You don't know. Yeah. Well, guess what? He doesn't have a replacement plan. That's the guy who you call the Great White Hope.
And then if he doesn't, that's fine too. Because Brian,
what?
Let's say that.
Oh my goodness. Yeah.
Brian, let's say he doesn't. We are capable in America of taking care of ourselves. The less government in our life, Brian.
So we shouldn't have. So we shouldn't have
government in our life. The less government in our life, the better off we are. We need a smaller government.
And now Brian tries to flip the whole thing. He goes on offense and starts saying that 20 million Americans are being taken off Medicaid coverage and millions more are losing food stamps. And look, that is a real conversation worth having. But here is what Brian either does not understand or just refuses to acknowledge. You cannot sit there for 10 straight minutes saying you want to pay for illegal aliens' education, housing, food, and healthcare, and then turn around and act like you are the champion of American citizens. Those two positions do not go together. You cannot be the guy who says, yes, fund everything for people here illegally, and then 5 seconds later pretend you are outraged that Americans are not getting enough help. Pick a lane, Brian. Because the audience just watched you say yes to every single handout for non-citizens, and now you want to lecture about American suffering. That is not compassion, that is confusion. And Jesse was honest about where he stands. He said he is fine with them getting rid of certain programs because in his view, a lot of people on those programs are taking advantage of the system. Now you can agree or disagree with how bluntly he put it, but the principle behind it is something a lot of Americans actually believe. There are people who have turned government assistance into a lifestyle instead of a lifeline. And that is not some radical opinion, that is just what millions of hardworking taxpayers see every day. The system was designed to help people get back on their feet, not to become a permanent check. And then Jesse dropped what I think is the most important line of this entire segment. He said this: "We are capable in America, taking care of ourselves, and the less government in our life, the better off we are." That is what this whole debate comes down to. One side believes the government should fund everything for everyone, including people who are not even supposed to be here. The other side believes in personal responsibility and limited government. And if you look at history, the pattern is clear. The Roman Republic started offering free grain distributions to its citizens through the grain dole, and over time that dependency expanded until it became one of the financial burdens that weakened the empire from within. When governments try to be everything to everyone, they eventually collapse under the weight of it. So what do you guys think of this? Leave your thoughts down in the comments. Please like and subscribe, and I will see you in the next video.